everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Yes, sir, Clark.
And this is show number 54. And on this episode, we're going to be previewing the best defense in college football, your Georgia Bulldogs.
Boom.
Boom.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it. I love it, man. Defense wins championships, Clark. I will always be an advocate of defense winning championships. Look, the high-flying offenses in the past, I know you got like the 2019 LSUs and all that stuff that we've seen here, wanting to spread it out, win big playoff games, 52-49. I understand all that stuff, man. I understand that. I do. But when it comes down to it, the core to get through a season is a strong defense, Clark. And you got to have it. Yep. You got to have it, man. And under Kirby Smart, Georgia has just gotten better every single year with it. And the depth that is built and what we've seen in Athens is it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And we've just so happened the past couple of years, offense has just countered it.
Exactly.
Look.
And Adam, I tell you, this offseason, we've been chatting about this.
Yes,
how this could potentially be Georgia's best defense ever.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. But on paper, just the studs that are coming back, Clark. The studs that are coming back, especially the experience that you get in the secondary. And I want to touch on that. I mean, that first group of guys we think that's going to be lining up back there in the third level. I mean, the experience there is pretty dang good when you look at it, and the talent is. And after that, we'll talk about what will happen with attrition and if there is any injuries there. The second level you look at is just loaded with freaks in that linebacker room, man. And defensive line is loaded with a bunch of grandpas, I think.
Right.
A bunch of guys who have played a lot of meaningful football at the University of Georgia. And I get excited talking about it. You don't have, Clark, and we'll touch more into it when we dive into the defensive line, but there's not your Jalen Carter, your Jordan Davis, your big playmaker. Who's going to step up, Clark, and be that guy who's going to take a double team? Take two linemen away to have to guard him, and then still can't even guard him as he penetrates through the A gap. That's the answers that we need to know, Clark.
Yeah.
And we're going to see here between the Tennessee Martin Skyhawks coming to town.
That's true. A big matchup at Sanford Stadium.
No, that's right, man. That's right.
Earth-shattering.
Sure enough, it's going to be, it lays out just perfect, the schedule does, to let these guys see who's going to step up, who's going to be the man, who's going to be that guy, Clark. That's what they say these days. Who's that guy?
And
who is that guy?
Right. In 21, it seemed like Dean was that guy.
He
right?
was, yeah.
He was, I think. He was that big leader. Or you could argue Jordan Davis, one or the other. And then last year, it really seemed like Nolan was, even though he was injured for the back half of the season. Who is it going to be this year? And Adam, did you get some coffee in your eye?
Hopping hot beverage in my eye.
Adam, that happened like two episodes ago, right?
Yeah, that was rough, man. living dangerously without a lid on this bad boy, man. It just jumps up and bites you. But anyway, the show must go on. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, Adam, this Friday, switching gears a little bit here, is our birthday. Second birthday of Row 60. Happy birthday to us, right?
Sweet number 2, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what they say. Yes, I made it up. Yeah. Made it up. Yeah, 2 years is hard to believe that we have that we've made it 2 years, Clark. Of me and you just rambling and a gambling, just rolling on with this podcast, and it's been fun. It's been fun. I never would have thought when we did that on August 4, 2021, that we had said, "Hey, we're gonna pump this thing out." That we see 2 Georgia Bulldog national championships, but here we are chasing a third, and hey, this is a special time of year. Special time of year right now, man.
Completely agree.
So I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to roll, Clark. It's gonna be good. It's man, August is here.
August is here. Adam, our birthday is here, and hey, this Friday, what is also here is Patreon is being launched this Friday, August the 4th. So to become a Row 60 patron, you can download the Patreon app and search Row 60, or visit patreon.com/row60.
Yeah.
We've already posted some never before seen content on there already. True. So if you go and you subscribe for $5 a month, you can get access to that. We're going to have a lot of stuff this season, behind the scenes stuff, exclusive content, game day content, all this fun stuff. You may even get a few discount codes to our store.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, I'm excited about that, Clark. Because here's the deal, man. We want to give more content to our followers out there, man, and get more people excited about Georgia football and stuff. But as we are with our lives, like you said, and we've said many a time, we don't do this full time. We got to have a little bit of support coming back with it to be able to grow because of the time and the money it takes, especially for Clark, who edits all these things, does social media. So we promise we're going to give the content for that. And the stuff that we've already brought the past 2 years will continue to be accessed like it is. But hey, just $5 a month, Clark. You know what? Hey, that's just not going to the gas station, one day and buying some peanut butter toasted crackers and a jumbo size Tropicana lemonade.
And a honey bun.
Right there. And then, hey, there's your $5 for the month.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Clark, I found the best gas station outside of Buc-ee's.
Oh, really? What is it?
That's a junior Buc-ee's, I think.
What? Tell me about it.
I mean, no, it's not on the League of Buc-ee's. I know we're going off the rails here, but the people need to know this. And I haven't seen them in any other state. So if your state out there has a Spinks gas station, Spinx, I guess a Spinks is like some sort of a line. A Spinx like a mammal in Africa,
crouching lion?
like a cougar or a jaguar, and that family,
right? Okay.
So anyway,
cat?
it's a cat,
a feline.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Feline.
Yeah.
So anyway, a Spinks gas station, man. So I have to go to South Carolina every now and then, and I've made it a annual tradition every time I go to stop at the Spinks gas station. They have. I'm a big fan of a carbonated beverage on ice.
Yeah.
So anyway, I like to go, and they have about 135 different drinks you can choose from, and about 4 or 5 chewy ice dispensers. So you're not going up there and putting your cup underneath the ice machine, and no ice is coming out, and it's good chewy ice. And spilled my drink all over the set. But anyway,
I had a wreck right now.
But anyway, I'm getting excited about it because I wish I had. And you don't just get an XL cup.
Right.
You get a jumbo cup.
Oh, is that what they call it?
A jumbo, yes. And I get a jumbo cup from the Spinks gas station, loaded down with chewy ice, the perfect ration between ice and Tropicana lemonade, and it helps my commute a whole lot. So free shout out to Spinks gas station, right below the Buc-ee's.
Wow. Okay, so where does it rank?
Better than QT.
I was about to say,
yeah.
Where's Quick Trip rank? So below.
It's above. It's above Quick Trip.
Wow.
Great bathrooms, man. Great memorabilia if you want to get in there and you go get a large mug or something.
Yeah.
And it's really clean, good service. Love the people there. But the big draw to the Spinks gas station, Clark, is the soda machine. I guess you call it, the fountain machine, whatever.
Now, can you
talk about?
Question in this jumbo cup that you're talking about? Can you get coffee?
I mean, no, this is kind of a styrofoam cup.
Okay.
Well, I guess you could, yeah, but it's not a, you could, but they have actually, they have other options for the coffee.
Okay.
Have a lot of good different brews over there too, man. I mean, whatever floats your boat. I'm a piping hot black coffee drinker.
Yeah.
But
no cream, no sugar.
I had to throw that out there because that's really been a great joy in life. And that's the little things. We talk about the little things in life, and going to the Spinks gas station, getting a jumbo sized chewy ice Tropicana lemonade is one of the things in life that makes me happy.
Well, good,
especially on a hot summer day.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I'm more of a Buc-ee's guy. I'm a loyalist to Buc-ee's, and thank goodness, Adam.
Yeah.
In I think it's next year maybe. Buc-ee's in Anderson, South Carolina will be opening. That is just right across the lake from us.
I'm excited about that.
We're going to have to take the kids one day when they're grown up.
Well, instead of going to Longhorn, you go to Buc-ee's and you get a barbecue sandwich and the homemade tater chips. I love it, man. I mean, I'm all for these gas stations really up in the game, and that's pretty good. But I was impressed with Spinks, and I just had to tell the world that because it's been on my mind here a lot lately, and I've shared it with a lot of folks. So good on the Spinks general manager team.
Should we give them a hand?
Ownership team. I'll give them a hand.
All right, we'll give
and like I
Spinks a
said,
hand.
I'm sure. I don't know what other states are in. I have yet to see one in Georgia, but they're loaded down across the state line. Of course, we live on the line in South Carolina, so good with it.
All right,
good with it. Anyhow.
Good stuff.
So anyway, point being, coming back around full circle is if I cut out one of my Spinks trips, Clark.
Yeah,
that's $5. Just one day,
for
just
Patreon,
one day, not getting a jumbo Tropicana lemonade. Heck, I could even just get a small lemonade and then Patreon. There we
Boom.
go. There we go.
And y'all will be able to support us. Yes. And once again, this will offset some costs for us. And help us make some better content for you guys and keep making some cool stuff. So moving on. Hey, I've got a fun fact, and this is not going to be a Clark's fun fact. This is just a generic fun fact.
All right, I want to hear it.
We currently have 57 guys active on an NFL roster. That does, it would be 58. Sony Michel, DGD. He did just retire. As of the recording of this episode, it was yesterday. So that's when he announced his retirement.
It's always Sony in California, baby.
Yeah. Yep.
Always Sony
It
in
is.
California with the roses and smells like roses, man. You know, I'll always remember that run for as long as the good Lord gives me a clear mind.
Yep, that one and the game-winning
2015
touchdown
against Georgia Southern?
Yeah, Georgia Southern overtime touchdown. Oh boy. Anyway,
you know that's going to be next year's offseason is diving into the 2015 Georgia Southern.
are we going to do a deep dive?
But I remember sitting there bent over the wall. Just thinking, there's no way we could lose this team from Statesboro.
Yeah.
Like my gut. I've never been just more nauseous at a Georgia game as far as just depression in a sense of, my gosh, Georgia Southern. But anyway, past all that. But that would be an interesting one to look into.
We're going to do that.
The
next
whole
year.
2015 season
and
honestly.
2013. We could do a deep dive in 13 too.
I mean, those were wild times.
Yeah, for sure. 57 guys active on an NFL roster. Listen to this, though. This is the crazy part.
Yeah.
53 of them were drafted in the Kirby Smart era.
That's right. Recruiting and development, man. Hey, and you know what? People can recruit, and they can be high talented guys coming out of high school, but they got to get developed. The 3 to 4 years, and a lot of them 3 years until they're good enough to jump ship, man. And that's what Georgia does so well, Clark. It develops them in every aspect of the game. Not only strength and play on the field, obviously, but also being a man, the character aspect of it, man. And I feel like that's something that's been under fire at Georgia lately. We'll just say that, leave it at that. But when you look at these guys, though, outside of just being short-sighted from what you see published out on newspaper, but you dive into it. Exactly. When you dive into it, man, you see what time at the University of Georgia has transformed them into.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
As husbands, fathers, and everything else in life that's all grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Kirby Smart has done a great job at developing these guys, especially on the field. And off the field, with the exception of a few circumstances. But anyway, let's jump into this defense, Adam.
That's true.
And we're first going to mention the guys that have either moved on from the University of Georgia to play in the NFL or have transferred. So we want to list these guys just in case you've been living under a rock for the last 6 months or so. Ryan Davis, former inside linebacker.
Yeah.
Right? He played inside linebacker. Yeah. Transferred to UCF.
Don't wish Ryan Davis any ill will, Clark. I think he was a well built guy, number 0 out there. Had some time on the field for us, but just got passed on the depth chart, man. But I think he really contributed a lot to the University of Georgia and going to play with old Gustav Malzahn down there in Central Florida in their inaugural year in the Big 12. And we'll see what kind of havoc he could wreak down there in Orlando, Florida.
He'll be close proximity
to
on
him, man.
To Disney World, Adam.
Yeah, he will. He'll be right down there with it, with all everybody, with Mickey and the gang, everybody down there. So that's probably why he went, right?
Yeah, why not? Another guy who transferred, Tresman Marshall to Alabama. Same kind of thing. I think just got replaced.
He got replaced on the depth chart, so you go to Alabama. That's what you do these days.
The state of Alabama just tends to get our leftovers.
Can you believe that, though? We're to the point right now, as of this recording. Well, I don't even know what the date is. What's today? July
30th.
July 30th. Today's the 30th.
Yep.
Dang, we're almost to August, folks. But anyway, July 30th is a recording of when we're sitting down doing this. And the University of Georgia has players that transfer out of the University of Georgia for a better opportunity to get on the field in Tuscaloosa under Nick Saban's defense at the University of Alabama.
Yeah. That's wild.
Inject that into my veins right here, Clark. All day, baby.
Let me ask you this, because you'll know this answer, I think.
Woo!
When is the last time we've had an Alabama player transfer into Georgia?
Was it Maurice Smith?
Yeah. It
16?
was, right?
Yeah.
I think.
I don't think there was anybody that came from Alabama to Georgia besides Maurice, and that Kirby's first year.
Yeah.
He brought him over. I don't think there's been anybody between then. No.
I can't think of anybody.
No, there hadn't been.
And if there has been, it probably hasn't been a player of big significance.
No. I mean, Maurice. I think Maurice would be the last one. I mean, right off the top of the dome, man. That's what I'm going to say was Maurice Smith.
Correct us if we're wrong out there.
Yeah, please do.
And then the last guy we'll mention, Bear Alexander, transferred to USC. Whatever.
I wish not good luck on the playing field. No injuries. No injuries, but I hope he never wins anything. I hope that when he plays against Pac-12 opponents, which, and then it'll be Big Ten opponents next year, whatever. But this year, I just hope, I just think it's dumb, Clark. I just think it's dumb, and I probably shouldn't go on this tangent about it. But from what I heard, what happened there is just he was a big me guy.
Right.
Big me guy. And, things that transpired in spring, he just wasn't there, and guys held him accountable. And it was kind of a good thing that he left as far. I mean, heck of a talent, but attitude wasn't there. That's from what I heard, man. And better off going to the West Coast and playing, physical Pac-12 football. That's a sentence you never hear. So, especially in Southern California, Alex Grinch defense. So, unbelievable, man. I just don't understand. And again, I shouldn't be just lashing like this, but I'm just open the floodgates. It's how a kid playing defensive line who wants to go to the next level make generational money, Clark. Generational money. And yeah, he's got the talent. He still could do it. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But the heck of a path and the heck of an opportunity you have in front of you to play for Trey Scott, Glenn Schumann, Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp's defense, Clark. Yeah. And seeing what Jordan Davis has done, Devontae White's done,
Jalen Carter,
Trayvon Walker, #1 pick, Jalen Carter, all these guys have done, and the money they have made and set themselves up because they've gone through the same process as you, man. They're going through the same process for you, but the difference is the attitude.
Right.
I feel like, some guy, but anyway, it just didn't work out for him. But hey, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, whatever. He'll probably have a good pro career, maybe have a good year, but he won't be getting another one of these.
Oh, yeah. Maybe a Pac-12 championship.
I ain't even going to get
or
a
Rose Bowl, not like a semifinal game Rose Bowl, just a Rose Bowl.
A Holiday Bowl.
Yeah.
Las Vegas
Whatever,
Bowl.
man. Who cares?
Poinsettia Bowl. San Diego County Union Poinsettia Bowl.
Is that a real thing?
It used to be.
I know the Poinsettia Bowl.
Is. Yeah. I don't know if San Diego County Union. I just thought, I don't know if they're still a sponsor of it or not, but
who knows?
Back in the day, they were.
You have the most random knowledge about college football, and I love it.
Because I love college football. It's a
do.
drug. It's a drug. My wife told me the other day, Clark, that I have a problem because I could relate so many life events, like what happened a decade ago, to who Georgia was playing like at that day or the week of. Or stuff.
Man.
I think there was 2 of them in one day. So, that was Georgia, Kentucky, 2012. We were up there in Lexington, and we were lucky to come out of that game.
Yeah, we were actually.
Then,
that's a good point.
I mean, that kind of deal. And she said, and I do have problems. I'm a weird guy. We're weird, and that's just it. But hey, we can sit here and admit it, not take ourselves serious with it, and just ramble on.
That's it.
Love it.
Let's talk about the guys who went to the NFL this past year. Jalen Carter, obviously, he's an Eagle. Nolan Smith, Eagle. Mm-hmm. Kelee Ringo, Eagle. Chris Smith is playing for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. Chris Smith, he's a DGD, man.
He really is.
I love him. I forgot to put him on my list a few episodes back.
Really?
We did
the top 5?
Top 5. Yeah, he should have been on there. I was thinking about that later, and I was really kicking myself.
As an honorable mention? Or
no, he should have been one of the dudes.
Really?
And it just went over. But I mean, look, I was watching him play. He was such a leader, man. He embodied Georgia and had a great career here. And I hope, God bless him. I hope he has a good NFL career, man.
And then last but not least, Robert Bills playing for the 49ers. Yeah. Is old Charlie Warner still there?
I think so, yeah. I think he is, unless something happened this offseason. Last I heard, man, but Robert Bill is a guy, Clark, who really stuck his time here at Georgia. Threatened to transfer, but he stayed the course. Wasn't always just a star, but when you called upon him, man, he put up some very impressive numbers, had some big games and postseason play. And just when Georgia needed him, I felt like he stepped up and was a big part of it.
Agreed.
So God bless him. Hope he has a good career.
Yep. Well,
God bless them all.
Let's look at this 2023 Georgia football defense.
Oh, all right.
We're going to start up front, Adam.
All right,
is that okay?
Yeah. Because I think to me, this is when you break down every position group on the field, Clark. Offense and defense and kickers and long snappers and the like, placeholders and the like. This is the biggest when you're talking about, is Georgia going to go get 3 in a row? This is the biggest question mark to me in a sense. Not talent-wise, but, I guess so. What I'm saying is, who's going to be the guy, Clark? Who's going to be the guy, like I alluded to earlier in the opener, man, who's going to be what Jalen Carter did, what Jordan Davis did, who caused havoc, that you had to double team him, that freed up so many different guys on that front to make plays. Who's going to be that guy, Clark? And that's what I'm excited to see what Trey Scott's going to do. He's over the last few years earned the respect of us. He's going to have them ready in elite defensive play. But if Georgia is able to produce the run defense and not let anybody run the football on them like they have done the past couple of years, then yes, 3 is coming. Yeah. That is the biggest thing, is to be able to, pressure the quarterback, but more importantly, I think, Clark, is have a defensive line who has put up the same numbers on run defense and does not makes teams one-dimensional like they did with Tennessee last year in a high-flying number 1 overall offense. They couldn't run the football. Couldn't run the football on Georgia, man. So that's what's got to happen this year is teams should not be able to move the ball on the ground against this Georgia defensive line. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. If we see, hey, we're there, those guys are there, they're not doing it, then shoot, let's get ready. Let's get ready to go to Houston, man. So Trey Scott, though, unbelievable what he has done in his time here, and the guys you got listed there, you're about to rattle off, Clark. I believe in him, but that's kind of my big question mark. Right. What's the defensive line going to do, baby?
Zion Logue, Nazir Stackhouse, Warren Brinson, Tramel Walthour, all these guys, you've probably heard their names, and rightfully so, because like you said, Adam, they've had a lot of meaningful snaps. And I just want you to think for a second. Think about this. Last year, Georgia Tech, they played 12 games. That was it. Their season was done after 12. They didn't make a bowl, did they? No.
Georgia Tech?
No.
Well, of course they did. No.
Okay, right. All right. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, they hadn't.
Because if they did, that would ruin my point.
Yeah.
So they played 12 games. But I want you to think about this. Georgia and these guys I just listed, they played 15. 3 extra. And in the grand scheme of things, no, 3 games is huge, especially when you're playing 3 of the best or better teams in the nation. So that's critical when you have those kinds of reps, those game time reps adding up. Even if you are behind a Jalen Carter or a Jordan Davis or a Trayvon Walker, you're still seeing them on the field. You're still think about the practice too. I mean, you get like literally another month of just practicing, of conditioning, of learning more about the game. Yeah, that is invaluable, and that's why these guys right here, I think, are going to be just fine. They've played so many snaps. They're all seniors. Every single one of these guys are seniors. I think we may have a couple of like COVID seniors. They chose to stay another year. But Zion Logue, Nazir Stackhouse, Warren Brinson, Tramel Walthour. Adam, what do you think about those guys?
Yeah, man. First off, right before I dive into that, you talked about Georgia Tech and their bowl. I saw a cute quote the other day.
What is it?
They interviewed a guy who decided to come back to Georgia Tech and play. They always want for shooting for this year. He doesn't want to leave the Georgia Institute of Technology without a bowl berth. He did. I swear it was printed on the paper.
That's so cute.
And I thought, man, God bless him. That's tough. That's tough. But anywho, I had to just throw that in there right there since you brought up the subject. So it's been a while since the Yellow Jackets have been bowling. But anywho, these guys, Clark, like you said, I ditto everything you say, man. Guys who, because defensive line is a group where you have to have depth and you have to be in condition and you have to rotate. You're going to see a lot of meaningful time, man. And I think the guy that I'm going to be looking at, in my personal opinion, to kind of be the leader on that defensive line, be the guy like what we saw. He's not the talent level of a Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, but I think he could, if he has a big year, Clark, be first round talent. So, hey, he could be after the end of this year. Could be looking back and changing my tune on that. It's Nazir Stackhouse, man. Nazir Stackhouse, I think, has got to be that guy. When you run a 3-4 base defense, Clark, you have to have dominant interior linemen. Am I right?
That's a good point.
So I think he's going to be the guy who we're going to have to see some big play out of. Hopefully stays healthy, congestion that inside man, maybe taking some double teams and be that guy.
Yeah.
And be that guy.
That's a good guy. What I'm going with, man. That's a good one to look out for there, Nazir. And then on the end, true defensive end, Mykel Williams, huge freshman year last year. He was last year's sack leader, I think he is poised to have an even better year. He's got a big body, big frame, a lot of speed for his size too, I think. Look out for Mykel Williams.
Yeah, I think a guy like him, exactly, Clark, he had a huge freshman year. Obviously, no reason why not to think he's not just going to take another leap forward and cause some havoc right there on the edge, man. I was watching the national championship rerun again for the 1700th time, I was watching him make a big play, man. He just blew by that tackle and just absolutely cleated Max Duggan, man.
Wow.
And, having him back again for a sophomore year, just a freak out there. I think he's going to have a big year, put up some big numbers. So,
two guys that we should look out for, I guess, talking about the line still, Christian Miller and Jordan Hall, two young guys. You'll see a lot of rotation with them,
especially with Bear leaving. You're going to see Jordan Hall and Christian Miller really step in, and I think Jordan Hall's highly touted. Those are really the two guys that we'll just highlight that you hear a lot of buzz about from our side, man. And I think Jordan Hall could be that next guy. And Christian Miller, he's a stud too, man. So I'm really excited about them. One thing you're not going to have to worry about though is when you get talent in the defensive line, Trey Scott developing them. And I mean it's hard to believe that there was talk around the Georgia fan base back in the day of if Trey Scott had that ability, but he keeps doing it now year in, year out, and has for a while. And no doubt those are the next two guys, man. And even a guy like Tyrion Ingram Dawkins is a guy, again, who's had a lot of playing time too that you can see in there. So, that's about, right now, I think that's all we need to cover right now. Just kind of a base, just going over the defensive line. But that's the biggest question mark, Clark, in the sense of what's it going to be like? Is it going to be like the past 2 years? And you have to have, if you want to have the defenses that you've had the past 2 years, Clark, you have to have the defensive line play like that, man.
I mean, I'm in agreement, Adam, but I actually think there might be a slightly bigger question mark on this defense.
Oh,
I'll
really?
tell you in just a minute. I want to
hear it.
We'll get to that.
All right. I like it.
But, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you've got to be able to stop the run, and there's no doubt I think these guys can, and it doesn't hurt to have these guys who we're about to talk about right behind them, filling the gaps, making the big hits, making the tackles, setting the, getting out on the edge and making some open field tackles. Our linebackers, Adam.
Yeah.
And let's start with your boy.
My boy.
Jamon Dumas
Let's all
Johnson.
go down to Dumas Walker. Let's all go. Big Jamon Dumas Walker Johnson, Kentucky Headhunters fame. Oh, anyway, if anybody doesn't know to catch the reference from last year and will be this year, it is Jamon Dumas Johnson. And I go off. I think of Let's All Go to Dumas Walker. It's a popular 90s country song by the Kentucky Headhunters. Big pop in the middle, Clark.
We need to play that song for the people.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Pop, I'm telling you, Adam, you talk about the leader. Who is it going to be? I really think this needs to be the leader. Jamon Dumas Johnson.
Yes, sir, Clark.
I think he's going to be a vocal leader this upcoming season. He's going to make a big jump forward. And, he plays with a lot of heart. He needs to be that anchor.
Yeah, Clark, there has to be in a football team, and we've said this time and time again, but the biggest part isn't the talent, Clark.
Right.
It's not the talent who's going to step up. It's who is going to command on each side of the football and the team overall take the role of the Nolan Smiths, take the role of the Jordan Davis and the Kobe Deans that we've seen the past 2 years. When you have those guys keeping their guys accountable and you have that leadership that they're going to go to work every single day and do the things that they did the year before, seeing the older guys who have left do, and just keep that tradition going, man, and keep people accountable. That's where you win national championship football teams. And who's it going to be? And I think Jamon Dumas Walker Johnson is a guy that can do that, Carter. It needs to be, man. I mean, you see what Kobe Dean did at that linebacker level.
Yeah.
Even though Nolan Smith was an outside guy, Jamon Dumas Johnson, he was around both of them. He was a freshman during the 21 season, man. Got some playing time behind Dean, Walker, Tyndall, all those guys. So it's his time to come in there, and he's got some talented guys behind him, man. And I'm excited about this linebacker room. This linebacker room will kill you.
I agree.
Well, come up there and knock your head off.
Yep. And I love it.
Can cuss you.
Yeah. Kind of reminds you of those Greg Blue days, Thomas Davis.
I love it. I love it.
I love Pop. I think he's going to have a big season this year. Right beside him, Smile Munden. Going to see a really, really big year from him as well. Last year, I think, honestly, if we're talking about favorite players on this current defense, Smile, I think, he may be my number one guy. I love Smile. I really like Smile.
Big Logan Waldrop, friend of the show, he called Smile Mondon being a guy a while back, man. So every time I hear Smile, I think of him. So shout out to Logan right there. Yeah. And he's a guy. He is a guy, and two inside linebackers coming back that were the two stars last year, Clark. So
both, I think, leading tacklers, 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely, like man. So guys who were on a national championship winning defense, and the starters coming back right there in your two inside linebacker spots with heck of talent behind them, man. So
I mean, I don't really see, and I could be wrong about this, I don't really see Smile Munden being that vocal leader as Pop would be, but do you know
the guy?
I don't know the guy.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I have met him. No, I have met him.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But,
I'm just
but those Mike linebackers, though, those inside linebackers, those tend to be the guys who kind of, like you were saying, commanding the defense. And they're kind of, I think of them as the quarterback of the defense.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, and a lot of talent in that room and a lot of question marks, and I've even said it myself, which I don't think that. I was just got a little excited thinking those are going to be the two guys, but there's some talent behind them, man.
Yeah, for real.
When you think about it, I mean, golly, you got some just straight guys out there, Clark, and some guys coming in like Damon Wilson.
Yeah,
I think that's a guy that you're going to hear a lot from. Damon and Raylan Wilson.
Okay,
and but Damon, I think, is going to be a stud, man. And you got Jalen Walker. Did they move him to the outside?
See, that's the thing. I mean, last year he did play.
Yeah, he played a lot of outside line. And I can't remember that. He might be a hybrid kind of guy, but you got him who could do a lot of good things, man. And one guy you hear about, I think it's going to go one way. I think he's either going to get passed or he's going to step up and be a guy we're not expecting this year. Is Xavier Story. Xavier Story.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
I've heard,
Sorry. Something. Sorry.
I've heard a lot of talk about Marvin Jones Jr. as well.
Oh man, I love Marvin Jones Jr. That's my guy.
Yeah,
because he just looks the part.
I was about to say he's got the number too.
7,
right?
Yeah,
he's still
number 7, man. And he, when Nolan got injured, I was hoping, and he was banged up too. Marvin was, man. But what kind of steps did he make this offseason to get up there and get that edge spot, man? Because he just looks like a freak. Outside linebacker, a guy who could get in the trenches and battle and get off a block of a tackle and really get to the quarterback, man, and play the flats, and really be a guy that I'm excited about. I know the coaching staff's been excited about. I've been in the program now for a little bit in the sense of should be there. I mean, hey, I think it's one of these years that he's got to have it this year.
Yeah. Another name to look out for is Samuel Mpimba. Played at IMG. Freshman coming in, so
Mpimba. That's a guy.
We got some dudes. I mean, a lot of guys, behind Pop and Smile, you may not have heard as much about, but this year you're definitely going to see that come out. So, let's talk a little. And then we're getting to this.
All right.
Let's talk about the outside, though. We kind of spend a lot of time on the inside. Outside backer. You got Chaz Chambliss, who's probably the most veteran, he's probably played the most snaps,
man.
Out of the other guys. So, who do you think's going to be that kind of starter outside linebacker where Nolan was last year?
I want to say this. I think it's Marvin Jones Jr.
Really?
I hope it is anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still on the outside right there. They might have flipped these guys. I think he's still on the outside. So Marvin Jones Jr. Man, I want to see him. And then, and what did we decided on Jalen Walker? Are we going to consider him on the outside?
I mean, he played a lot of outside last year.
I think he'd be a guy that could be there, too.
Well, the thing is, too, I mean, he's not really going to – he's too talented to not be on the field.
Exactly.
And you're not going to really rotate a whole lot of Jamon Dumas and Smile. I mean, those two guys are going to be on the field pretty much the entire game.
A lot of time.
And that's my point. I mean, put them on the outside, let them get some playing time. Jalen Walker, so – I don't know.
You could be out there. Chaz Chambliss, I think, will be starting day 1, though.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. That's an exciting thing, man, is we're going to get to hear about it in camp. Who had the best scrimmages, and Lord forbid who's banged up, and can't go. So I don't know, man. I'm excited. I think there's some talented younger guys out on the outside. So I just think it's going to be a war in the inside and outside linebacking rooms for playing time because there's so much talent there. And I hope it's an iron sharpens iron deal, baby. It's an iron sharpen iron deal. And I hope everybody has the right attitude with it because a lot of good come out of that room.
Agreed. Next up is DBs. Wait, hold up. Anything else you want to say about linebackers? You want to move to secondary?
I'm good on linebackers. Okay. Unless you want to add a little bit. I just think it's a very, very talented group that is going to cause havoc and be one of the strongest kind of heart of the defense in the sense of talent and I think where you can see your big leader at where traditionally it's been at the past couple of years.
Doesn't really seem like there are a lot of question marks maybe on the outside linebacker position.
A lot of talented young guys who are going to learn their names a lot. We've heard them mentioned in the recruiting cycle. Heard the buzz about them in spring practice, and starting this whole month of August, we're going to hear more from them, man, with the scrimmage practice reports and everything coming up.
Adam, let's move to our secondary. Yes. And I'm just going to say this.
Favorite position on the field.
Really? Yeah, you played a little safety back in the day, back in high school.
Yeah, I mean everybody just loves having the 5'7" just safeties out there. I mean that just shows you everything, all that good stuff.
Man.
But I do love some. I do love just secondary play, man. So let's say some studs out there.
I think that this is easily the best secondary in the SEC, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. And by the end of the season, I think people are going to say Georgia has had the best secondary in the entire country.
Yeah. Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to go with that. I really do think this is a talented bunch. I mean, obviously, anybody with a functioning brain and set of eyeballs can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen to this. This happened out of SEC Media Days. 3 of our 4 DBs are already named preseason first team All SEC.
Yes, sir.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
So let's start with our safeties, all right?
Give it to us.
Obviously, you lose Christopher Smith last year. That hurts. You know, he was a big senior leader back there in the secondary. But this year you got Malachi Starks and Javon Bullard. Both got a ton of playing time last year. Malachi being a freshman. Yeah, Malachi being a freshman. Javon's a junior this year.
Yeah, he was a redshirt freshman last year, correct? Isn't that right?
I thought he was, I don't know.
I mean, a redshirt. I mean, it would have been a sophomore year. Was that right? Is that right?
Know.
Look that up. That's embarrassing. We don't know that. Let me look that up. Look that up.
Javon Bullard.
Why you do that, man? One last thing about the linebackers is Coach Deribe, I can't say his full name, has done an outstanding job, of course, alongside Glenn Schumann in the inside linebacker room. This defensive coaching staff is so strong, Clark. So strong. So anyway, talking about that, but I think one of the most impressive defensive coaches on this staff is Fran Brown, man. And I think that's where the biggest upgrade when Kirby has hired has been DB coaches, which it's got to be a tough gig to coach defensive backs when you're in the same room as Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, man, to be the DB coach. But Fran Brown is an elite recruiter, a guy from up there, up north, man, and pulled some guys from up north, going to Florida, won some recruiting battles, man, and you just hear nothing but just good things of him and a bright future for that guy as well.
Yeah. Javon Bullard, I completely agree with that.
Okay.
Javon Bullard is a junior this year.
A junior, true junior, not a red shirt.
I don't know.
Okay, all right. 30 years of program.
According to GeorgiaDawgs.com, last year he was a sophomore.
That's right.
This year,
all right, good deal.
I guess he'd have to be.
He'd have to be.
Anyway, Javon Bullard, though, he is my second favorite dog on this defense. I absolutely love the way that he plays, and I think he's going to be a ball hawk this year. You're going to see a lot of Malachi Starks and Javon Bullard. Look, I'm going to say between the two, they'll have, I think, this sounds a little crazy. They may have, between those two guys alone, 7 picks.
Yeah. So, and you got to think, too, man, Javon Bullard played a lot of nickelback star position last year, man. So, this year he's going to go where Christopher Smith was, get to play in that third level at a safety spot. And I think that's going to lead to a lot of big plays being made by him, man. And I think, you know, that you're right. Malachi Starks, I said it last year, I still think it's a possibility that he could be one of the most talented defensive backs when it's all said and done, Clark, to ever come through the University of Georgia.
I'm right there with you. He's just a bona fide playmaker. I also love the fact that he's from Jefferson. You know, he's hometown boy. So, not really
close, but close enough, man.
Right.
Close enough.
And once again, Javon Bullard. I mean, you can just tell this guy loves to wear the red and black, and he loves to hit somebody. And there's nothing better than watching a safety, especially a guy of his stature.
Yes.
I mean, he's a smaller guy.
Yes.
But he will put a hit on you. I mean, just ask Marvin Harrison Jr.
Exactly right. I mean, it hurt on somebody. He's still crying about it.
Oh, yeah, they are.
So, him and Ryan are still crying about it.
All of Ohio State faithful won't shut up about it.
Javon Bullard, what he did in the postseason this past year, of course, obviously, the hit on Marvin Harrison Jr., which saved them from Ohio State scoring a touchdown, to what he did in the national championship game. A couple picks there, man. And, you know, but I'll just always remember that performance in the national championship. The pick before the half there, man, and which swung, which made it such to be able to score right before halftime was just unreal. Unreal. And just I expect big things out of him, and I think he'll be a vocal leader, Carl.
Right.
And he's my favorite player on the team.
Javon Bullard?
Javon Bullard.
I love that, yeah.
Yep.
I like it. Where there's not really a question mark is one of the cornerback positions. Kamari Laster, I mean, he's going to be that lockdown corner that Kelee was.
He is.
And let me just say this. Kelee got a bad rap, okay?
He did.
He really, really did. And, you know, I think a lot of people know him, obviously, for the pick six. But I think he's one of the better corners in Georgia football history. I mean, if you're just talking about pure talent, I mean, and speed and athleticism and his size playing a cornerback position in the SEC, and he was able to lock down guys for the most part. I mean, he did great. And you got to be able to replace a guy like that, to put on those Marvin Harrison Jr.'s and and whatnot. You got to be able to have a guy like that, and I think that's who Kamari Lassiter will be this year. Kamari has a lot of talent. He's very fast. He's physical as well. He'll jam you at the line of scrimmage. Once again, not as tall, not built the same way that Kelee was, but still a heck of an athlete.
I think Kamari was playing better at the end of the year,
right?
Than Kelee was,
and
but you're exactly right that Kelee Ringo is leaving some big shoes to fill. I feel like he made some big plays, interception, Tennessee, obviously the pick six, man, and there's some times we were frustrated, but there was a lot of times where it wasn't on Ringo that some of that stuff that happened late in the year that we alluded to, but I've heard just showing out in Eagles camp, man. Might be somebody who's moved to safety in the NFL and has a big career. So one of those guys, I think he plays safety or corner. I mean, just a guy who we're thankful to have worn the red and black.
Yep, agreed. The real question mark, Adam, and this is what I was talking about earlier. And it's not a talent thing because we've got some guys on the other. I'm talking about the other cornerback position here. Man, we've got a lot of talent, but who is going to step up and win this cornerback battle? I think this is the biggest battle, bigger than the quarterback battle, bigger than the defensive line, whatever.
Yeah, man.
I think this is the biggest battle. Who do you think is going to step up, win kind of fall camp in a sense, and win that starting position against the UT Martin Skyhawks?
Oh, yeah, that's big. That's big. But, yeah, I mean, no, but, we joke about the schedule, but with these guys we're talking about plugging in and playing, quarterback position we'll get to next episode, this the opposite side cornerback, the Kamari Lassiter, defensive line guys getting new roles. It's great to have these games, man. And I think Clark is going to be I think it's going to be Dalen Everett.
Okay.
I think. But there's some, Nyland Green, I can see it. Both of those guys are physical cornerbacks. And I think what you want to see now at Georgia and the Kirby Smart cornerback, that you have to be physical, man. You got to be able to jam your guy at the line and play physical, come up and stick your helmet up in a play and dislodge the ball and, come up and make a tackle, and I think that's what Kirby Smart wants to see in his cornerbacks, and Fran Brown, and two guys that have knows the system.
Oh, yeah.
Been there, man. Been there behind Ringo and Lassiter, man. Got some minutes. Nyland Green played really good special teams. I think he's pretty fast too. So guys that I could see really making a difference. And I don't know. I think it will be Dalen Everett. Right. You might see both of them kind of rotate until somebody pulls away, and that's again news we'll see the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, don't dismiss a guy like AJ Harris, man. A true freshman corner coming in that I think he's going to be the real deal.
Really? Okay.
I think he is going to be an absolute freak, man.
Julian Humphrey as well. Heard some buzz on Rivals.
Yeah.
On some of the boards.
On some of the message board perusing around the 247s, Rivals and everything.
And anyway, they yep. And I've heard a lot of people talking about he might be a potential candidate. That's the point. It really, until we hear what's coming out of practice, until we get to the first game in September, we're not really going to know.
Me and you don't know because we can speculate from what we saw in the spring, but we're not in that building talking to Kirby. We're not talking to any staffers.
You're not.
Are you? You tell me. Did you go eat with him the other night?
Yeah.
You go to that?
We stay in touch on email.
I got you. That's nice.
He's on Facebook Messenger.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I figured he still had like AOL Messenger, Yahoo Messenger or something. K-Smart 16.
MySpace.
I figured like AOL came out about the time that he was at Georgia, with the dial-up internet. But no, in all seriousness, so we don't know. We don't know. It's just good speculation. That's what makes this time of year fun, man. Speculating, seeing what we could call right and what we are just completely whiff at, which we do a bunch, and the sense of these guys. So I don't know. I think that's the names. I don't know. They're talented guys, man, and they'll be developed, ready to go. I'm excited about it. I think, And then, do you have the nickelback star position in there?
I don't, but we should definitely talk about that.
Who do you think that guy's going to be?
It's got to be Tyke Smith, right?
Yeah, I think Tyke's, a guy who was an All-American at West Virginia in 2020, came over to Georgia 2021, bad injury over in Opelika and Auburn, and just kind of hadn't really recovered, been kind of buried in the depth chart since, man. But I think a veteran guy who's played, still been playing for Georgia and contributed and done some good things in the red and black, is really going to get his time to shine this year. I think it's his job to lose, man, but I don't know. You got safeties coming in like Jonel Aguaro. I think that's how you pronounce his name, who is a stud, who I don't know. You could have Jonell playing safety, Javon go to star, nickel back, whatever, or vice versa. A lot of stuff to plug and play.
Yeah, and those guys are kind of interchangeable too. I mean, you kind of have to learn. I would imagine you've got to be able to play a star or true strong safety or whatever, free safety. You gotta kind of be able to rotate and know what to do everywhere.
It'll be very interesting to see what we hear out of camp. Yeah. Who's it going to be? I mean, there's some guys, man. I think it's going to be big too, Clark. We talk about all these people, but are you a little bit nervous? Let me ask you this. Are you a little bit nervous? We talk about all the talent that's in the secondary room. Obviously, Kirby's going to bring in talent in the DB room. That's something that's never going to have to be an issue here at the University of Georgia. But are you a little nervous that if you start losing like a Malachi Stars, knock on wood,
for injuries?
Kamari last, if injuries goes down, not a lot of guys like behind them that's had significant minutes.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if the injury bug plagued our secondary, at least in the safety position, I'd be a little concerned.
Yeah.
I'd be a little concerned anywhere in any position, honestly, but definitely in that.
And I think that it's not that you're not trotting out talented guys to replace them. That you're it's not like it's 2013.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Josh Aubrey Clemens gets suspended. I'm not going to call out the boy's name because God bless him. He did the best he could, did better than I could out there. He was wearing the red and black, living a dream. But you're not trotting those type of guys out there to get bulldozed by. You're going to just say it by Sammy Watkins. But it gets special. But that's just the difference now and then what it was back then. Yeah. Not knocking that whatsoever. But I guess what you're looking at is the experience and the leadership aspect of it. Is that going to hurt, especially later on down the road when those injuries could really affect you up in Neyland, up in Knoxville? You got to have experience.
Adam, I totally forgot about this guy.
I'll give it
Dan Jackson.
Dirty Dan Jackson.
He's coming back off an injury last year.
Yeah.
I think seems like he's been here forever.
Dan Jackson's our guy.
He's a senior.
He is our guy.
If there's a player that kind of represents what Row 60 is all about, it's Dan Jackson.
Yeah,
Heck yeah. Dirty Dan, man.
You think about Dirty Dan Jackson sacrificing his whole body to throw that block for Kelee Ringo up in Indianapolis. That
would have been us, wouldn't it? We would have gotten destroyed, but we would have made sure Kelee got in.
I love it, man. But no, he's made some big plays.
He really has,
I think about the Arkansas punt in 2021, man. And
he had a pick at Auburn.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He did. But I mean, he's played a lot of football, man, and I hope he's recovered well and gets to end his Georgia career on an even higher note this year. And that's the guy that's going to provide depth experience.
Exactly, yeah.
The guy that'll rotate in there. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good unit.
Me too. Well, that pretty much wraps up the defensive chatter. And, man, like you were saying, like we've been saying, we're going to hear more and more and more throughout fall camp. And we're going to have a pretty good idea, I would imagine, at the end of August, who's going to be starting.
Let me ask you this. So, all right, who's going to lead the team in tackles?
Who's going to lead the team in tackles? I'm going to go with Smile, only because I think Smile has a little bit more speed than Jamon Dumas-Johnson.
Yeah, I'll give Smile too.
Smile.
Okay, who's going to lead the season in interceptions?
I'm going to go with Malachi.
Two guys. All right, yeah. I'll go Bullard. You go Malachi.
Okay, yeah.
I'll go Bullard. You go Malachi, but I agree. Either one is a great pick.
I like it.
I agree with Smile Mondon, too, on the linebacker.
Who's going to lead the team in sacks? It's got to be one guy.
Michael Williams.
Yeah, Michael Williams.
Michael Williams is going to eat. Okay. And, golly.
I don't
know. It's exciting. God, you just got some names, man. And there's some guys that we'll look back in December when we're getting ready to do the playoff previews at this episode. And it's like, how in the world did Adam and Clark not mention this guy or talk about this guy that will emerge? It happens every year in fall camp, man, that we don't know about. And guys who just continue to progress, get opportunity and make the most of it.
Yep.
And that's what makes the month of August so exciting. Why I said it's so special to be able to read up. We're going to have scrimmages starting on Saturdays in the week that you get to, you go to these on 3, 247 rivals, these guys who make a full-time living out of covering Georgia football and gets access to it, and you see that stuff. You get to keep up with it, and I think that's what's exciting about it. So,
right.
I don't know, man. I'm excited.
Me too. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please review us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That would help us grow this Georgia football community. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, comment below which defensive player you're most excited about this season. And then next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to preview our offense. And there is going to be a lot of chatter about our offense because, God, this is going to be a heck of an offense too. We just got a great football
I agree, Carter. One more thing.
Yeah.
It's this Glenn Schumann's last year. Entering his last year being the defense coordinator at the University of Georgia, co-defense.
I hope not. But if it is, I'm not worried.
I think it is because that means that we're going to do it again, have another stellar defense, and he's going to get a job that – or is he waiting – I mean, this is just opening up another can of worms. Or is he going to pull a Kirby Smart under Nick Saban and just stay underneath Saban like Kirby did at Alabama, that Schumann just stays under Smart until his alma mater comes back open to go to, which is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And does he want to be the guy that –
Hey –
it's Saban's predecessor.
I've heard.
So is he waiting for that?
I've heard that theory from other people, and that's plausible. I really think that could happen.
So I mean, we don't know. Saban did, Cart, just buy a $17.5 million shack in Florida.
Oh,
shack on the beach, on a private island.
Oh,
you know, I think it's a private island, just a shack. You know, probably nothing special.
Oh, no,
you know, $17.5 million can't buy nothing too extravagant, right?
Well,
I mean,
and this economy,
Nick
really,
Saban, he wouldn't be a guy that would like those lustrous things, right? You would think of him as just a humble man who would probably be giving like $17.5 million to people in Ethiopia or you know.
Can you think of another third world country?
Uganda.
Okay, there you go. Oh, man. Yeah.
No, maybe he does do shit. I don't know. I know they build a house. Every time in Tuscaloosa after the tornadoes in 2011. Miss Terry makes them build one if they win a national championship now for people. Yeah. And I tell you what, we'll build one in 2 years, baby. Woo! Yes, sir.
Is that something we cheer about?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Well, anyway, yes. Once again, next episode, we'll be previewing our offense and special teams. Can't forget about our special teams.
You cannot forget our Australian punter.
That's right, yes. And who is going to be the kicker?
That's pivotal. You got to have some big kicks.
We need Rodrigo Rankinship.
Rodrigo Rankinship.
Yeah.
Is
come back.
Yeah, is Jared Zirkle? Is this finally his time? The guy from Texas you put on scholarship? Is this his time to shine, man?
I don't know.
Who's going to be the placeholder, Clark?
Yeah, Stetson exactly.
We talk about other things that Stetson Bennett. We're not going to have Stetson Bennett at quarterback, but what about placeholder, Clark?
Who is going to be the wing on the field goal team? To replace Darnell Washington.
Oh, that's big.
I'm serious.
It's got to be Oscar Delp, right?
Maybe.
Or Lawson Lucky.
Or Brock.
Or Lawson Lucky. Well, Brock and then Lawson Lucky.
I don't know.
I think that's big.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about into next episode.
Special teams.
Oh, Adam, wrap us up.
Who's going to set the wedge?
Yeah.
We might get an in-depth look on the kick return team. Who's coming back? You just don't know.
My gosh.
Hey, you never know what you're going to find here at Row 60 Podcast. We're going off the rails because it's August and we're excited.
Yep.
And, it's the best time of year. We've said it the past 2 years, man, about how much we love this time of year. It's just childlike jubilation, Clark. And it always will be, man. And I'm excited. I can't say that enough. Hey, everybody go enjoy your last couple days of summer until you got to go back to school. Ha, ha, ha. Everybody's got to go back to school. Ha, 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 ha. We're looking at Clark's wife, Caitlin, who's a teacher. But she enjoys it. She enjoys it. That's good. Yeah. That's what we need. We need more of that in our school systems. That's right. But anyway, go to the Speaks gas station. Get you a jumbo-size ice, a Tropicana lemonade. Hey, my challenge this week, Clark, enjoy the finer things in life, baby. Because Georgia football is coming, and that's what we do. Georgia football is one of them finer things we enjoy. But enjoy the little things. Have time with family, friends, and loved ones. Holler at us. We love y'all. It's about time, baby. Go Dogs!
Go Dogs! Ooh, ooh.